Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of GOW, the Generational Wrestling Podcast. As always, is yours truly, the 29-year-old piece of gold of the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, Kid Breezy, aka EC's resident Isaac Hayes, King 2 Gold in the building. Broham, what's popping?
Man, what's popping, man, is, it's Saturday, man. We are once again out and about in the daytime, man.
Daytime.
Just talking that talk, just shooting a little bit with the people, man. Nothing crazy, man. Nothing serious, nothing going on, nothing to review, just talking a little wrestling, man. That's all.
Yeah, just a little bit, it's not often that we get this many days to really just do what we want to do when we want to do it. This is bro. I don't know if we'll ever have this again. So
no, it's gonna be plenty of summer. Oh no, we got plenty of summer. There's gonna be a lot more of these for the summer. That's for sure.
But bro, all right. So let's talk, man. So as we do, we ain't did a proper shoot from the hip in a long time, just because, man, it's been pay-per-view after pay-per-view and show after show after show. So now, man, we kind of just really get to talk and encompass, man, wrestling as a whole. Bro, okay, man, let's get right into it. So we talked a little bit about it yesterday. I kind of want to expand a little bit more on this, man. AEW Collision, CM Punk. Again, man, just hopping online, seeing that a lot of people really are split down the middle. They say controversy creates cash and any publicity is good publicity. But my question to you would be this, because I know you asked me this, and I know I kind of answered it, but we were in the midst of, doing our nightly whatevers. Dude, I know CM Punk 2 years ago was a huge draw for the ratings. But do you think CM Punk alone will be enough to save Rampage, to keep people interested?
Well, Collision.
Excuse me, Collision.
It depends on how it's centered around him. Like, I don't know if it's centered around him or it's just going to be the debut of him being there. Now, if this is going to be their B-level show where you'll get some of the A-list stars, but you'll get more of the B-list guys. What's going on, Leo? I'm still. We still got to figure that part out. We still got to see what is and how is this show going to be built around him and what they're going to do. So right now, I'm just. It's up in the air, but it's interesting. I hope to see a few stars, like maybe some more Swerve Stricklands, maybe some Ricky Starks, just those type of guys doing more wrestling, and or maybe just whatever happened on Wednesday carrying over to Saturday.
Right.
And if that's what it is, then that's fine. Then we didn't. Hey, eventually we're gonna get to that Kenny Omega CM Punk.
Oh yeah,
I still want to see it. I'm still all for it, and I still want to see it.
All right, man. So we got that, and I want to get back into AEW on the AEW side of things. But I kind of want to go over to WWE for a second, man. So a lot of people are very negative on Trish Stratus. It's been reported, and when they had the draft recently, and she was drafted to Raw, we like, damn, okay. So the reports is already out. She's going to be around at least till SummerSlam. But they said now that she's going to be appearing regularly in WWE for the foreseeable future, which, in my opinion, I know WWE gets a lot of flack for bringing in part-timers or old-timers, as they like to say. But I would say this. I would say, unlike a lot of other people like the Goldbergs and people who've kind of, dipped their toe in the water, retired, come back, quit, come back, quit, come back. To me, I feel like Trish is a little different because, one, the women's division it's been suffering. You had about a good 5-6 years when they were really trying to do something with the 4 horsewomen, right? And so, but even then, it was like the division was still centered around their success, whether it was singles or tag. And then it's like once Bailey and Sasha, once they lost the titles again, it was kind of like, bro, I feel like they were really the only ones that really made these new tag titles really worth a damn. You took them off of them and put them on the Iconics, and they had them for even longer and didn't do a
But
damn
they didn't do
thing
nothing with it
at all. And I feel like, bro, it's like I don't understand what the issue is with WWE and their booking. It seemed like the women were headed, in the right direction for a while. And now it just seems like, again, we're back in this situation. You bring in Ronda Rousey to bring in mainstream eyeballs. She came into WWE right off the heels of her just leaving MMA, and all the history she made there. So that was a power move. It was a good move. But even Ronda Rousey has voiced her displeasure in the booking of women in WWE, specifically the tag team division. The reason that Ronda and Shayna got the titles is because it's been said that Ronda Rousey went and demanded to the office, y'all need to do something with these belts. Y'all need to actually invest in this. And me and Shayna want to be the change to drive that force. And apparently,
and
with
that
Shayna
makes so
Baszler,
much sense. That makes a lot of sense because if Ronda's point has always been,
yeah,
she comes from MMA. She comes from legit sports championship.
yeah,
So it's like, I get what the business is, but
right,
even for the business being what it is, you could still do better
yes,
with how you present these championships.
yeah,
So I've never been against her on that. And that's been the point. One of the reasons why I say I've been one of the few people that say they need more championships, but
yeah,
people, others have been saying, nah, they don't need no more championships. I'm like, but you gotta have more
yeah,
championships. You got too many women now. It's not
mm-hmm.
like you got it's not like you got 3 to 4 women that's just constantly fighting for the same championship. Even though
Yeah,
sometimes that's what it looks like. But you really have a lot more women in the business now where
yeah.
they need more belts. You got to give them belts. You got to give them something to fight for,
And
regardless to how important you feel about it.
and that's the crazy part, because like you said, bro, everybody isn't cut to be the SmackDown Women's Champion or the Raw Women's Champion. But then again, everybody's not meant to be thrown in the tag team either. So like you say, okay, you might have somebody like a Zelina Vega who right now, when you look at the roster, okay, you know damn well you probably not gonna put her in the champion spot over Charlotte or Bailey or Io. But if you had a secondary championship, okay, cool, boom. Now she has a legitimate chance and she can still be a champion. And then when the time is right, she can slide her way up or down or adjacent, whatever the case may be when the time calls for that. No, you're absolutely right.
Oh, and that's the uh that and that's the reason why I wouldn't be mad if they actually added some mid card championships. Now,
Yeah.
we speaking of women's championships, we kept saying, okay, the draft has happened.
Yeah.
Uh, Leo says people were telling Banks to shut up, etc. When she went
But we
vegan
knew
and
what that
demanded the
was
same
though.
thing, but she already had a negative impact on
Yeah.
her because people already felt a way about Sasha Banks. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like when she did it, no one understood or respected her reason for doing it.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, even if she's injured now, we saw the success she had by making that choice to do her own thing. And
Yeah.
even for Naomi, we're seeing what she's doing in Impact, and she's doing her own thing, and she's being shown a little bit better than what she was in WWE. Uh, but with the Raw and the SmackDown champions, I'm starting to wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why they haven't just swapped the titles yet, I
Mm-hmm.
think they're about to replace them, and I think they're about
Mm.
to. I'm going to go on a limb here and
Ooh,
say
don't
that
cuss at me.
they are dropping the monarch of the women, the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, and they're going to have their own respectable name to them. Because it's like there's no reason at this point you have not swapped these titles. Like, why not? Like, even if you don't want to do it on air, okay, cool, fine, don't do it on air. Just swap the titles, whatever, man. But why not? And I feel like there's a bigger reason why.
You
That
know,
could be the reason why.
And that makes sense because I guess for the men, you don't have the SmackDown, world title and the Raw world title. So if they
Right,
were to get
right,
drafted or exchange shows, you could just take that title and be fine like the US and the Intercontinental. It doesn't have
right.
a name exclusivity. So it's like,
The
okay, it makes
women's and the
sense.
SmackDowns, the women's and
Yeah.
the tag team titles are the only 2 titles that are like that. which
Yeah.
is why I'm thinking they could go back to like what they like when Stephanie and them was in charge as the GM. Raw
Yeah.
had their own. Bischoff had his own set of tag team championships.
Yep.
SmackDown had their own set of tag team championships, and they looked it different.
Yeah.
That's what made them belts feel a little bit more different and better because they didn't look like the same belts, and they looked at like legitimate gold belts. Like they
Yeah.
looked, they were better design belts. Even if you
Yeah.
didn't like the Stephanie's design was actually okay. I actually liked it. Bischoff's title design
Hmm.
for the world titles and for the
Yeah.
tag team titles, and well, of course the big gold title, and of course the Intercontinental at that time. But his tag teams for Raw, I actually liked their title design. Um, so if that's what they're looking for, because right now they're introducing new titles. You got to think
Right.
about it, man. They just came in with a new World Heavyweight Championship. They just presented Roman with a new WWE Universal Undisputed Championship.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, it's the same title. They just changed the background and some of the coloring of it, but it's still
Yeah.
big ass W with a gold background, which it looks a little better. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, does
Yeah.
look a little better. But it is what it is, and you've already brought in the new United States. You already brought in the new Intercontinental. Uh, you don't really need to do anything with the women's tags because they're
Yeah.
relatively new. I mean, if you want to redesign them, you can, but I don't feel like you need to. Uh, but if you're going to redesign one more set of titles, it should be the
Right.
women's championships. And again, you call one WWE Universal Championship, Women's Championship. You can call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's obviously where you went with the men's. It's no longer just a WWE Championship. WWE Championship now merged, and Universal, the Universal part has now been added. So it's like,
Well,
I
it's
wonder how
Universal
long
Undisputed.
I think it's still a WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. Like
Okay.
it's all of
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I still that they just kept the Universal because of
Yeah.
course the WWE Universe and all
Of
that stuff.
course.
That's
Yeah.
their gimmick. It's the universe, not
The
the
universe.
fans.
Ooh, the
Yeah, it's the
cosmos.
universe. So he's the champion of the universe. But uh, yeah, you do that for the women's and you bring a female big gold title
Yeah.
for the other show and go with that. And now you get rid of just naming the titles after the show. You got
Yeah.
the SmackDown championships, you got the Raw tag team champions. No man, you can still call it that, but they don't have to look the same. They can be two totally different looking titles. Uh, or you don't even have to call it Raw. Actually, no, actually drop it. That way, like you say, when you do the draft, you don't have to worry about swapping because you got the Raw Tag Team
Yeah.
Champions. You could just swap the championships, and it don't matter because they'll be on two different separate shows. So if I think that's the thing that they're doing right now with the tag and the women on why they haven't truly split the tag now that Roman Reigns thing is over with, and it seems like
Yeah.
Imperium is about to get a title shot. Uh, you could definitely start to split those tag team titles up. We'll see what happens after that, but definitely would love to see that for the women.
All right, man. So speaking of the women, all right, I want to talk to you. I want to go back. I want to jump back into AEW. AEW's women's division has seen a massive improvement, but there still seems to be a problem with the booking in AEW. And it's not even just the women at this point, it's across the board. We're talking about consistency. Uh, dude, you got Britt Baker, you got the Adam Coles, you got the Ricky Starks, who seems to be in and out, and you got the Brian Cages, who seems to be in and out. You got Miro, who's been out for a while, but now we know he's going to come back and be a whole part of that collision thing. What do you have to say about the people who says Tony Khan isn't consistent in his booking of big stars or stars that are finally starting to get over? Because a lot of people are saying this, it's like, dude, you take these stars, and the minute people start to give a shit about them, it's like, damn, they gone for like weeks and months at a time. Then they come back, and then there's a whole new storyline or a whole new whatever.
Well, part of that is injury. For
Yeah.
Miro, part of that was injury for what he was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
But also part of that was storyline because
Yeah.
after he pretty much dominated as a
Yes.
TNT champion,
Yes.
there was nowhere else for him to go but up.
Yeah.
Like it's like Tony. There's only so far you could take this guy, and you took him there. He came in. He was the redeemer. He redeemed. The people were for it. They were ready to see Miro go on and go it. And people were like, yeah, put the title on him. Like
Yeah.
this is what we want to see. We want to see Miro run through it, build us up a new face to go and to beat the redeeming monster. All
Yeah.
right. So okay, cool, no problem. Um, Andrade, like Leo says, despite some contract issues that he may have had, some wants of wanting to be released or whatnot,
Yeah.
injury was an issue for him too. So for some of these people, you have to look at injuries. Statlander, who just came back, why did Jay Cargill have an extended run?
Yep.
Because when Stat was supposed to take the title off of her, she got
Right.
hurt,
Right.
so they had to extend it. So it's not so much as Tony just doing bad booking. Not saying
Right.
Tony didn't do some bad booking, because we have seen Tony do some bad booking or keep people off TV a little too long. So it's not
Right.
like I'm going to totally defend him. I'm going to say it's 50-50. Injury and bad booking. Shit just happens. As far as the big stars and what's coming up, maybe that's what this collision show is for.
Right.
To bring back that Tony wants to bring back that old school Saturday night wrestling vibe, in which
Hmm.
you can do that with the stars that we claim he's not using,
Yeah.
and showcasing them on a Saturday night and letting us see them and letting us. And people say, well, Brian Cage ain't doing much. Well, Brian Cage wasn't doing much, but then Brian Cage ended up in ROH. And
True.
Brian Cage has
True.
been doing more over there, which
Yeah.
quite a few people have been doing a lot more for ROH. You think about Athena. Well, they're like, well, Athena ain't been doing nothing. No, she's been dominating as the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. She's been going around defending the championship fight, and they got a pay-per-view coming up. They're still doing stuff.
Over there
There's some
knocking
people,
heads off.
right? There's still some people that are doing Ring of Honor and AEW, and there's some people who just mostly doing Ring of Honor, and they may show up for AEW because Ring of Honor. That's the way Tony's still keeping it relevant by
Right.
allowing some of those Ring of Honor people to show up on Dynamite and have matches and have feuds or whatever, and still be out there and presentable. With the way that it's structured,
Yeah.
everybody's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to. You can. I mean, okay. Let's just be real, man. Do you want to see titles swapping hands left and right? I mean, we can say
Yeah.
that people can get
Yeah.
title opportunities,
Yeah.
but do you want everybody beating everybody? I mean, get me wrong. Somebody's got to be good enough to hold a title for a couple of title defenses. You
Right.
don't
Right.
want
Right.
nobody just you don't want to see Adam Cole beat MJF, and then let's just say Daniel Garcia beats Adam Cole in the first time. It's like you don't
Yeah.
want to. You want to
Yeah.
show people are good, but you don't want to show people are easily beat. So
Right. Right. Right.
not everybody's going to get that instant title shot, and I don't even think it's for everybody to go instantly for it. Like a guy like Adam Cole, of course, is going to say he wants to be AEW champion, and he got a couple of title shots. He lost. Daniel Bryan said, of course, he wants to be AEW champion. He got a couple of title shots. He lost. So it's not like guys don't get title shots and or opportunities. It's the nature of the business, man. Some of these people are well established. They're
Yeah.
establishing others. Adam Cole is just not coming back from injury. So that makes sense why he was going back and forth with Jericho. That's just more of what that was. He was coming back. He needed someone to have something with, and Jericho was that person to have something with. Leo says once someone wins the title, instead of enjoying it, people are asking and looking for who's the next guy to be
That's
champ,
true.
and that's right.
That's
And it's
true.
like you
That's
can't.
very true.
It's like, man, can this person hold the title for a while? It's like some people felt certain type of way about Hangman Page's title run if you think
Hmm.
about it. Said it wasn't long enough. He didn't do enough. I would put some of that on Tony. I would put some of that on injury, but I would put a lot of that on Tony on how he
Yeah.
booked him, because it was also timing. He had just had a kid.
I was
That
just
was the
about to say
reason
that
why
too.
he didn't win it
Yeah.
back in September of that year when he won it, because they had
Yeah.
to wait till fall gear because he had just had his baby. So it was bad timing, because if he had won it then, and then maybe had a title defense. Then his kid that came, and then
Yeah.
he took a little time off, and then he came. Like it might have been a little different, but it was the timing of everything because at that point, the story that they were building,
Yeah.
it kind of got halted. So again, it wasn't always Tony's. It wasn't always on Tony. Sometimes it would just be bad timing, and then he would have to change on the flop. And sometimes they were good, sometimes they were like, all right, well, we know Tony. We understood what Tony had to do, and I think that's the thing. People have to understand. You're going to have your opinion, like we have our opinions. You're going to have your opinion, but sometimes you got to be a little more understanding, see both sides, unless you just like bitching and complaining and sitting in your mom's basement in your underwear. Other than that, I don't really know what else to tell you.
Bro, so speaking of wrestling, right? So pro wrestling fans are known to be, super tribal, tribalism. You got, your WCW fans or your WWE fans. You got your WWE fans or your AEW fans. At one point in time, it was WWE Impact, and then it was a Ring of Honor and New Japan.
And
Hulk
all the people
Hogan.
that people love in WWE come from Ring of Honor and Impact and New Japan.
Yeah,
I find that shit the most funniest.
bro. So you got Hulk Hogan, and the question is, the question was, does he see AEW, and I'm going off what I said online here. Does he think AEW can be a legit competition to WWE? Like literally, like not as an alternative, but seriously, like a legit competition. And he said, you know what? And this is coming from Hulk Hogan, the guy who has been the top of the wrestling business, WWE or whatever. He's still Hulk Hogan despite all his flaws. And he said, hey, look, with Tony Khan and AEW got going on over there, he's like that company has a legit chance. He said they just need air. He said they need more game time. He's like, Vince and WWE, they've been around for 60 years. So of course WWE's got a stranglehold on the culture. But he's like, for a company to come up pretty much out of nowhere and to get the amount of success and acclaim as fast as they have and to achieve themselves and put themselves in the position as a legitimate, even alternative. He was like, I give them another 5 years, and I think I can honestly see them trying to go head to head, with Monday Night Raw. Not necessarily saying they're going to beat out Monday Night Raw, but saying that they will earn enough cachet, enough credibility to even be considered as an option on Monday nights. I know you and I, we talked a while ago, maybe about a year or so ago. Hey, man, like, trying to get to SmackDown is one thing, but going head to head with Monday night, we seen with TNA try to do that. It didn't last long at all. What are
I
your
think,
thoughts on that?
yeah, I remember that TNA. Well,
And I
I
think
think
that's
the
what kind of
problem,
when TNA really went to the shitter for a minute because they were doing cool till they tried that Monday Night Raw thing.
not only that, but I think part of the bit of the problem was the fact that you changed what was the dynamic of the ring. Even if, let's just say the wrestlers were on board, for the change of the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but that's what made fans want to watch it.
Right,
The
right,
six
right.
sided ring is what made fans want to watch Impact, man,
Yes.
because you got to see the unique matches or way that people did moves and stuff. And don't get me wrong, sometimes things looked great, sometimes things didn't. They didn't. But Impact had its own thing that separated it
Its own identity.
from right. It had its own identity from WWE. That's what was getting its some eyes put on it.
Yeah.
Plus, it was the people that they were signing. Once once Sting got there,
Yep.
it went up because people were like, oh shit, we thought he was gonna show up in WWE. He never went.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then time goes on, you get a few more people, and then Kurt Angle comes in. All right. Now, by the time you get Kurt Angle,
Yep.
TNA is getting some true recognition because now
Yeah.
you starting to get the stars that they have, that
Yep.
they've come up and they've become something. The AJ Styles, the Robert Roode, the
Hell, you
Eric
got Booker
Youngs.
T out of all people. He brought his
Well,
ass over.
before the Booker T's and all them,
Yeah.
I'm talking about just the Impact
Oh,
guys
the
that were coming
originals. Yeah.
up. You're right, the originals, the PD Young, PD Williams, and all
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beer Money Incorporated, all those guys,
Motor
man,
City
all those
Machine
teams,
Guns.
Bish, man, right, exactly. So when you had all those guys that had put in all that work, the Black Machismo, Sanjay Dutt,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett, King of the Mountain, like you had guys that were putting a stamp on it already. Then you got the more popular guys. They came over. They added more of a stamp to it.
Yeah.
Bischoff and them came in. They changed it. and they
Mhm.
tried to make it, production level wise, it was never supposed to compete with WWE,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is why I think them moving it to Monday when they just because it was on the rise, they thought,
Yeah.
well, this would be the perfect time to do it. I don't
Yeah.
think that was it. I think that was the wrong time to do it. You needed to first establish this new changes that you wanted to do and make
Mhm.
sure it was something people still wanted. And you could have kept your same night because you owned that night.
Yeah.
WWE didn't have
Yeah.
nothing on that night.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
owned that night. You then not only did it hurt you to compete with WWE on Monday,
Yep.
you were. Do you realize WWE have to compete with Monday Night
Like
Football?
football. I was just thinking that in my head too.
Do you
Just
not
thinking. Yeah.
understand the Monday night shows that come on Monday that
Yeah.
WWE
Yeah.
has to compete with? You didn't. And that was their biggest mistake to me. You you didn't look at that. You were just looking at WWE. You should have
Mhm.
been looking at everybody else that comes on Monday night. You thought you were going to outdo Monday Night Football? Come on now. Come on now. Impact, come on, man. Monday Night Football, you
Yeah.
get, I'm going to say 1.5% of what Monday Night Football gets.
Yeah.
And that's on a good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a good show. There were so many other reasons why that failed for them.
Bro, 'cause
Now,
Impact for a while, they had the thing where they were getting only a couple 100,000 viewers, like not even at the one, you know.
even being on a prime on a
Yeah.
TNN channel, like none of that mattered because you were competing against juggernauts. You weren't just competing against WWE. You were competing against football. Even if football went in the off season, you were still competing with other stuff that was coming
Yeah.
on for Monday. Now, how does that resonate to AEW? AEW owns Wednesday nights. That is their night. They should
Yeah.
never come off Wednesday night. There is no other wrestling show that is on Wednesday. That is your night. You own it. Stay there. Keep Dynamite there. As far as production value, Tony Khan has raised the production value each year.
Yeah.
They just got $1 billion or $1 million or whatever they got. He raises the production value every year. So I'm not worried about that. Um, Continue to allow your wrestlers the freedom that they have
Yeah.
as far as being able to not just be stuck in one company, but can go wrestle other places. Now, yes, does that hamper storyline sometimes because a guy may be injured or whatever? It could be, but you got to think about it. AEW is such a revolving door of talent
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's really just a place where you can come in and reestablish yourself. What's
Yeah.
going on, Hassan? You can really just come in, establish yourself in AEW, and you can go wherever, and you can go to New Japan, you can go to Impact, you can go to AAA, and if WWE be like, you know what, hey man, we should have took a little bit more time on you.
Yeah.
Won't you come back? All right, now you got to go back because of this time you spent there. So
You know what? I feel like AEW
keep
in
it
a
the way it
way,
is.
I feel like respectfully, I feel like AEW is like the wrestling's version of a rehab center. You know,
in a
because it's like, look at Big Bill, bro. Did nobody give a damn about Orange Cassidy in WWE? Now, granted, he did go to Impact and he did a little work at Impact.
Well,
Kind of started
you mean Big Cass. You
Big
said Orange
Cats, yeah, yeah,
Cassidy. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Goddamn, too many
I'm about to
cats.
say, wait a minute, Orange Cassidy
Big
was in
Cats.
WWE? Like, wait a minute,
No,
hold
big
on.
cast, big cast. But nobody gave a damn about him there. And then he went on the Indies for a while, and then he just had issues with
Well, they
alcohol and all
did.
that. And then he went to
Well,
TNA.
well, they did. I mean, the tag team was a thing. The problem was it was the way that it was handled,
Yeah.
and then he got injured. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like, and then Vince just tried to make him. Vince should have put a manager with him.
Yeah.
That's just what it was.
Yeah.
If he'd have put a manager with him, it would have been different. But yeah, yeah, the cast, like you said, when he left, he did improve. His
Yeah.
time in Impact was probably his
Yeah.
best time in Impact, like because he was challenging for the world title. I mean, bro, we saw that three-way match he had with Moose and it was him, it was Moose, and it was
It was
who
one
the
more
hell?
person.
It was one more person. I can't think of who it
Was
is.
it, I
We
think,
watched it live. It
ah,
wasn't Alexander, was it? No, it wasn't Alexander. It was
nah,
some
I want to say, if I'm not
Zack Ryder. It was Zack Ryder. Cardona.
shook.
It
Yeah.
was
Mark
Matt Cardona.
Cardona.
It
Yep.
was
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Cardona.
Yep. Yep.
That was a good triple threat match, and
Yep.
you could see where Big Bill, where he had evolved from what he was
Yeah.
in WWE,
Yeah.
body wise, the way he looked, the way he moved, just his attitude, everything about him. And now you see to where he is now, to where now he's an established star
Right.
to the point where I could see him definitely going back to WWE. I
Right,
could
right,
definitely
right.
see him going back to WWE. He may go back as Big Cass, maybe not, but I'd say drop the Big Cass and be like, nah, I'm keeping my name. I own my
Yeah,
name. But you know how
yeah,
WWE is with
yeah.
names, so they may take it back to Big Cass, but it'll just be a his attitude will be what we know it is, but
Right,
the
right.
name will be what WWE owns because WWE don't want to own people's names because
Right,
that's
right,
a
right.
conflict of interest and all that hoopla stuff. But um, I say keep Impact or keep AEW where it's at. If they're gonna try to bring in a Saturday night crowd again to make it that fight night kind of crowd, like boxing and all of that stuff,
Right.
that's not a bad thing. Will you get a lot of people that watch it? You gotta think about it. Even though a lot of people go out on Saturday nights, a lot of people don't go out on Saturday nights.
Right, right, right.
You got a lot of young people that go out and kick college students, stuff like that. And that's the age demographic that they're shooting for.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of other people who are at home watching TV. They chilling. They either got stuff to do or they just want to relax. And so you can get a viewership for it. Now, again, if Collision is set up to be the next big main show where you're gonna get good title fights. I mean, like MJF may defend the championship one time on the show. The tag team titles might get. Orange Cassidy and them gonna show. Like you gonna get big time, big main event matches on the show.
Right.
Then Wednesdays and Saturdays will be AEW's lock, and even if they have to run up against a pay per view, which they will, because it's amazing how AEW was always about Saturday pay per views
Yeah.
and WWE was always about Sundays, and
Sunday.
now that has totally flipped.
Swap.
Now AEW seems like they're going to be moving to Sundays with their pay per views, and now WWE is now moving to Saturdays with their pay per views. So
Yeah.
it's like, wow, it's amazing what the changes that a non-competitive company can do to another company. Like a company that has no dog in the fight, a company that isn't going to last very long, a company that no one really respects. It's amazing how they do so many different things. They were doing things that people were like, why were they doing them? Now WWE's doing them, and it's like, oh man, these are
Yeah.
the best things ever. So just don't want to throw that out there. But man, again, keep it where it's at. Keep showcasing the talent, and just continue to evolve each year, and keep your identity of who you are. You'll never catch WWE, but you can be a competing force in
Yeah.
the wrestling business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, man, shit, I'm gonna leave off right there, man, because hey, yeah, I feel like that's a perfect way to end. God damn it.
Hey man, it's your call, brother. You got the button. I'm riding with you.
No. But hey, no, like I said, we want to get on here. We want to shoot the shit with the people. We want to talk, man. Not nothing too crazy. Just want to catch up. Just a little bit of wrestling news and rumors, and just kind of see what the convo takes us.
Right, right. I will say this, man. And I did say it last night. It was last night. It was last night. I am looking forward to Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest. And this is the type of thing that we wanted to see when we got
Hmm.
to see guys like Damian Priest in NXT and
Yeah,
others that we wanted to see them make the main roster and have a shot and show that they can be a big time player. Not saying that they can be the greatest champion ever, but they can be a big time player, in this
right.
business. And Damian Priest, hey man, I expect him and Seth to put on a really great main event match. And it's for the championship, Seth's first title defense. Oh, Monday Night Raw, the workhorse is gonna do what he do. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Uh, but yeah, and I see Cody wants Rock one more time.
Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
you know, he's not done. So with a broken arm, even though his arm's broke, but we know it's not broke. But yeah, so that look like that may be happening at Money in the Bank. So, and considering it's almost a month, let's say about what it is. This is already June, so yeah, let's just say it's a month away. I can see Cody's broken arm healing in such miraculous time for him to have this fight with Brock Lesnar. So I can see that happening at Money in the Bank, which means Cody won't be in Money in the Bank because I know that was a huge thing on whether or not uh, if he would have a chance at winning the title back.
Yeah.
So I don't see him being back-to-back Royal Rumble winner either. But Money in the Bank was the next best thing. And if he's gonna end up fighting Brock, because I don't see Brock coming to no Monday Night Raw to fight, not at all. Cody won't be in Money in the Bank, so we'll definitely get a kind of a surprise. Last year it was Austin Theory. We'll see what happens this year, but I'm definitely ready for next week, man. Definitely ready to see what's gonna happen.
Well, man, look, as always, bro, speaking of next week, you and I got to talk about something over there. Something just came up. But anyway, we're going to talk. But with that being said, yo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to the podcast as we shoot from the hip on the latest wrestling news, rumors, and more. And with that being said, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We'll come back to y'all live and direct Monday with our Monday Night Block Party. But until then, we'll see you there. Don't be square. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.